Quorum is declared.
Do we have any modifications to the agenda?
No.
Thank you. If you're gonna be trying, we're gonna work it, okay? Okay, approval of consent agenda, minutes of regular meeting September 2nd, 2021, and review and approval of accounts payable.
Move to approve the consent agenda, the minutes of the last meeting and accounts payable.
Second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda, the minutes of regular meeting September 2nd, 2021, and review and approval of accounts payable. Is there any more discussion? Lorena?
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Counselor Foster,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala,
Aye.
Mayor Becker,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, citizen comments and special presentations, scheduled appearances. Chamber presentation, Brianna?
Do I need to sign this? I don't know if I ever do.
You're on
We would appreciate
You're on the
it. I mean,
agenda.
it's not like you're gonna go to jail or anything.
You're on the
Too nice.
She's on the agenda, she didn't have to.
So I talked to you last month and I kind of gave you, or maybe it was July. No, it was last month. It was last month. Okay, I'm scattered. And I gave you kind of an update of how the visitor center is doing and all that we're doing. And we've still been getting quite a bit with the last bit of people coming in for the end of summer. Labor Day was kind of hectic with a lot of visitors coming in, as well as I'm starting to get a lot of phone calls for all of the cranes that are coming back in the fall. People are planning on coming back down to come and see them. So we'll have hopefully quite a bit of people as well here this fall once the cranes get back here. I talked about my luncheon, which will be postponed until next month. And then, so the cranes are down. If you saw how sad our main street looks now that the cranes are down. But we have ordered a new batch, and hopefully whenever we get those in, we're gonna start selling sponsorships again. So if you would like to sponsor a crane, talk to me or come to the chamber. It'll be $200 to sponsor it and then $100 to buy it back. We have 8 cranes for our auction, which will be hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I still need to meet with the Crane Sweep Committee to kind of finalize details for the auction, but we'll have everything posted on our social media and our website once we have everything set. And then we have been meeting for Ag Conference, so the Ag Committee meets every the first Thursday of every month at the Chamber Building at 7 in the morning. So if you want to join and help put on the Ag Conference, we're getting things really kind of rocking and rolling for the 40th annual. As well as my holiday bazaar will be December 3rd and 4th, and I send out vendor packets next week, so I should know how many vendors I have here pretty soon. I think that's it. I kind of rambled.
It's good you got it all out.
So what are you doing in your free time?
In my free time? Oh.
Friends of Sky High, discussion on USDA grant and action plan for Sky High furniture and recreation equipment. Good to
Good
see you,
evening.
Carla.
Council, good to see you. Thank you for entertaining us. Here, the first item is Friends along with the city are putting together a proposal to submit a USDA grant for the conference center furniture. And I've been working with the chief, Rob, on the actual furniture. Linda from the chamber is also on that furniture committee that we made a subcommittee of everybody so that we didn't have So we've narrowed it down, we're ready to submit a proposal. We've had conversation with our local representative, Tennille, at USDA for almost 2 years now. And it was a timing thing, and now because we about have the building built, it's time to go before USDA and submit a grant, hopefully to help pay for it. On the particular grant that we are going for, the maximum at the local level is $50,000. However, Tennille believes if she can push it up to the state level, we might be able to seek a max of $100,000. Our committee, our furniture committee has been meeting. The furniture itself is going to be a little over $200,000. So it's pretty pricey to buy tables and chairs. We also have some whiteboards. We're also purchasing some carts for multimedia. You know, you can put your PowerPoint projectors on. There's some directional signs so that you can put them out in the hallway to direct attendees to various, you know, whichever meeting room they need to go to. Help me out, guys. What else is on that? Mainly multimedia boards, chairs, tables. We're ordering, or we're considering round tables and rectangular tables based upon plans that the design people have provided us. Pardon?
Some audio visual stuff.
A little bit of audio, video.
Whiteboards,
Coat racks, some trash cans, you know, just things like that that you need. You don't think of that until it's like furnishing a home. So we put together this list. We actually started this committee back when Forrest and Jenny were here. And now we've got it narrowed down to the items we would like to pursue. We have been talking with several companies. We've been working closely with city staff on the city's procurement policy, on how we stay within that and do not get out of bounds with that and get in trouble. So, and maybe Rob can expand upon that in now or later date during his report. And Anita have been doing some things. So it's been a great team effort to put all this together to make this grant submission possible. We are going to ask for $100,000, and we would like the council's approval that, because it will be in the city's name. Friends is not able to submit this grant, so it will be under the city's name and move forward. We do have letters of support from Senator Bennett, Congresswoman Boebert, and as of today, we got the hard copy from Senator Hickenlooper supporting this grant request. That one showed up this morning. So things are moving forward, and timing is critical. The USDA is also a reimbursement grant, so we're going to have to manage our timing and certain things as we move forward. But I think with staff and all, I think we can get it done and get us some furniture now that we do have a building, almost.
So all we need from you is a motion to allow us to do the grant in the city's name.
And this grant will not interfere with any of the other stuff we're dealing with on them, right? Because it comes from a different division, right?
Yes, this particular grant, and we've had that conversation. I understand several other departments have grant applications in with USDA. And no, Tennille, this would be a community resource facility grant, and I believe Chiefs was under something else.
Yeah, and this will not interfere with wastewater,
Okay.
which is probably the bigger one, right?
Yeah.
But that's the bigger concern.
We had that conversation already, but I wanted everybody else to know that as well, so we don't have any hiccups in the mix, so.
That's the plan. And if so, We can withdraw this grant if we need to.
Okay.
I would say that, Friends would then work something else out to come up with the funds if we can't make this grant work, rather than jeopardize the wastewater treatment grant. Cause I know that is significant.
So we'll need a motion to approve that.
I would move that the city approve the proposed move that the city be the approving officer for the grant for the USRDA for the Sky High Conference Center furniture.
Second.
It's been moved in second to approve, for the USDA grant under the name of the city for the furniture for Sky High Park. Is there any more discussion? Lorena?
Counselor Foster,
Aye?
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next thing I'd like to discuss with council is, back when we were trying to find some gap funding, when the Alcott Foundation approved that $2.5 million long-term grant, and we used that to leverage a loan at San Luis Valley Federal. And with the city, we're kind of a threesome partner there. And in that funds, $2 million was allocated for the building, and then there was about 100,000 that were fees. We had to pay Kutak Rock, and then there were closing fees and things like that. But that was all done accordance with laws, and we had Kutak Rock, who specializes in lease purchase arrangements, and they made sure all individuals, parties were, taken care of, and it's all legal. But in that, there is $400,000 that is sitting in a reserve account that the Alcott Foundation wanted a few extra dollars in case we had overruns. And because our budget right now is looking fairly stable, and that our estimate is coming in where we think it's going to come in, because we are getting it down towards the end. Friends would like to ask, and with the city's concurrence, that we go back to the Alcott Foundation and we ask that 300,000 of the 400, because they were restricted for construction only, but that we ask the Alcott Foundation formally that 300,000 of it be released to be utilized for funds for the purchase, if we need it, for conference center and recreation equipment. Because when we got into this process, I'll back up a little bit. The Friends of Sky High was responsible for the building of the building, raising the funds for the building, $8.6 million, a little over that. And in that budget, there was $100,000 for furniture, which we're short. And so Friends was gonna raise the money for the building and the conference center, so that's where we were focused in on. Well, now we're also moving into the purchase of recreation equipment, and Friends is working with the city on trying to find funding mechanisms for the needed equipment. I know council has had previous conversation with the former manager about the floor, but we still need scoreboards, we need nets, a lot of things, basketball stuff. So, we're working with staff on that, but we would like to request that 300 of that 400 that's in restricted funds be used to help fund any conference center furniture and or recreation equipment. And that would take approval from the Alcott Foundation Board of Trustees. And we have had conversation with them, and I'll put my other hat on, I am a trustee, and so I'll put my friend hat back on. There has been lots of discussion going on between everybody, and the Alcott Foundation wants this to work. We do have our limits, but what we're finding is we have a cash flow problem, so we're trying to look at different mechanisms to figure out how we can cash flow this. Part of the requirements would be that any funds that we do get from grants and or private individuals over and above the construction would go back against this 400. And then Friends is also just working with Monte Vista Community Fund on a short-term loan for some additional funds. Because if you look at the total budget, we've been working with Rob and the chief. Between the conference center and the recreation, we could be anywhere, total budget's 500 to 800,000. It's a lot of money. And that includes the floor. And so we're just trying to figure out means of way, to finance this. And so part of that would be that, again, any grants that we do obtain for these purposes would go back against these loans that happen. We all have our sideboards that we have to work around, not only government, laws and that, but IRS laws. So that's what we're trying to maneuver and work with all entities so that, we stay within the law, we stay within IRS, and but yet we make this project happen. And it can get kind of complicated at times, but if we keep it open communication and everything, it's going to work. It's just a matter we got to think about it and make it work. So I guess I would like to ask the city's concurrence in asking the Alcott Foundation to release that $300,000 in restricted funds to be utilized for the purchase of conference center furniture and or recreation equipment. That would leave $100,000 in the restricted fund for construction if we need it, if there is an overrun.
Carla, what's total budget on Sky High at this time? I've heard a variety of different figures. What are we expecting this is going to finish out at?
We're 8.6.
Okay.
We're not going over. It's actually looking very, very good. We were to have a meeting Tuesday. It got canceled. Numerous people couldn't be there. But right now, the budget is coming in, if nothing else, maybe just a tidge under. But and that's because Alcon has been very, very good to us. And they have donated some things as far as like the arch. They paid for that. There was things that Alcon has done. Alcon has carried us. We haven't been late on any payments, but who would go in and build an $8.6 million when you weren't fully funded? They have worked with us so well. And then on our two main, large events, Sky High and the fair, they shut construction down so that those two events could happen. But Alcon has been a blessing for this project. But no, we are not over budget.
Thank you.
And if that rumor's out there, we need to squelch it, cause it's not.
That's awesome.
And one thing talking about that, I should have said conference center, rec, and kitchen, cause we need to throw kitchen in there. We didn't have that in the budget for the new kitchen. So this 300 and, this other potential loan would also include kitchen equipment, what little we will need. Just so everybody's clear and we're transparent.
So we will need a motion.
I would move that we approve the action, this is the motion here in front of you, right? That we approve the action plan for the Sky High Conference Center furniture and recreation equipment purchase.
Yeah, I guess it would be, to
Release.
the 300,000 and
Oh.
restrict it for, instead of construction, it would be restricted for conference center, furniture, kitchen equipment, and recreation equipment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 300,000 restricted from construction to go to furniture, kitchen, and recreation equipment. Is there any more discussion on that?
Discussion's probably more for a staff question. I assume that money is currently sitting in the bank?
City of Colorado Trust.
Okay. So that's not coming out, 300,000 is not coming out of our cash flow?
No.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify how that all lease purchase thing, it's been a month or two since.
It's already in there too, it was part of the loan, so it was already in there, so it's been just sitting there in Colorado Trust. In order for it to be released, it has to be done through the council. But it's not, it's not the city's liability. The money's there, it's not the city's money, but because this is the project, it still has to be.
Right. Yeah, I understand. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Lorena?
Counselor Locke?
Aye.
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Victor, are you there?
I was having a hard time hearing, and I had my phone on mute because I didn't want to,
That's okay. What do you need? We made a motion to approve the $300,000 to out of the restricted construction to go to restrict it to furniture, the kitchen, and rec equipment for Sky High Park. Been,
all right, that sounds good. Aye.
all right, thank you, Victor.
And Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And just so that everyone's aware, what this 2.5 million is, it was a gap financing from SLV Federal Bank, and then the Alcott Foundation did a long-term grant to the city to make the payments, so their city is out no monies. It is totally a grant and was gap funding, but it is how all that works. There was a big paper trail.
Very large paper trail. So
Thank you.
in all essence, what she's saying is that within like a 4 to 5 year period, the building will totally be paid for. So,
It'll be paid for through construction, and then this gap financing fund will have no, it will be a totally paid facility.
that's awesome. Thank you so much, and your whole crew. You the economic development gentleman? You are a man-
scissors.
Sure, exactly. You are a man of many hats. Is this as chief or city manager?
Yeah, you might get arrested.
So, there's been this resolution, it's a 2007 resolution,
economic development assistance policy that has been out on our website, I guess for, well, we probably didn't have internet back in 2007, but anyway, this policy's been out there, it's been available since 2007, and we're just kind of looking at your guidance on whether we want to continue with this policy. Now, however, we don't know of anybody that's used it. We did have a gentleman that was interested in using it. However, he contacted me on Tuesday, and he's not going to. He found a different location for the business that he's trying to open. But a lot of us weren't aware of this policy, but it's been out there since 2007. But we're just, I guess, more asking if you want us to continue to go forward with it, because it does have some significant impacts to the city. If you just read the eligibility requirements and criteria, I mean, at its sole discretion, we may provide certain economic development assistance or incentive not to exceed $50,000. That includes like not charging tap fees and stuff like that. So and it's kind of at the discretion of the city manager with the approval of council, of course, on waiving a lot of these fees and some of the tax stuff. Yeah, property tax and stuff like that. So we're just more, do you want us to leave it out there or revise it, or I guess, like I said, it has been used. However, I was at a Upper Rio Grande Economic Development meeting today, and every time they get somebody that's inquiring about opening a business here, they do give them a copy of it. So I find it interesting that nobody has actually used this policy, or that we know of, in at least meetings time.
Nobody's used it at all?
No. Well, we did have, like I said, we had a gentleman that was curious, or he was inquiring and using it, and I believe he was going to use it, but he found a different location for his business.
I don't know, Rob, has anybody used it since we've been here?
I mean, there is an impact if they do use it. I mean, I think we want to do everything we can to draw businesses here, and having an economic development assistance policy is good, but is this the right one? I guess that's all we're asking. And we're neutral on it. We're completely neutral on it. It's more of it's 14 years old, so maybe it needs revised. But obviously we cannot take it off because it's a policy that's out there without your approval, or we leave it up there. I mean, there's no harm in that since it's not used.
And maybe something too, we could look at maybe with their direction, if you wish to go that direction, is to pull it off for a little bit, and let the staff who, that would affect like the water rates, have chief look at the taxes and stuff like that, and see if we're within our guidelines on that, and if it's standard, and it, revise it and then bring it back to you as well.
That would be my suggestion, to pull it down and look at it, have everybody look at it. Mike, look at it as well.
I would move that we take it down until we can revise or replace the policy.
I would second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to pull the economic development assistance policy off and have staff go through it and revise it if need be to verify everything. Is there any more discussion?
Just like I said, speak in favor of the motion. I read through this. I like the idea of having something out there. I think that it needs some serious updating. I think there's a lot of businesses that would open that this current policy does not address, and I think that we can do better.
Any more discussion? Joanna?
Counselor Locke?
Aye.
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
citizen comments. City council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit comments to 3 minutes, and council will not take action at this meeting. Jason, you have Mr. Hamko, please sign the sheet when you get up there.
I'm sure that everybody may have heard, but a couple weeks ago we had the first annual beer festival and car show. And through that event, we were able to make both the Optimistics and the Poor Boys Car Club were able to make a donation this past week to Home Lake veterans in the amount of $4,500. So we presented that, and we also hopefully will have it in the paper at one point. But so it was very successful. Just mention one more thing, that what the ladies said out there at the Home Lake is that we did the parade of the cars, about 60 cars, through the complex out there. And she said that you have never seen so many happy faces. All the guys were up against the window because they're still in quarantine. They were up against the window looking at all the cars going by and saying, "Oh, I used to have that one. I used to have that one." And so it was just a really neat thing. And I just wanted to let everybody know that it was successful, and we're planning next year's.
Very good. Do you know what they sold at the Model A or Model T out there?
No, I don't yet.
Young man that sold that donated all the money to the veterans.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but no, I haven't heard yet. But I'll find out.
I believe it was 9,500.
I heard it was either 9,500 or 10,000.
I think they were wanting a 10,000 and didn't get it, but I could be wrong on that. That was just the last I heard, and that's while the event was still going on, so they may have gotten it, but at least 9,500.
Okay, cool. That's good. Gotta appreciate those veterans. Is there any other comments? Bob?
No, Mr. Mayor, it looks like your meeting's moving along swimmingly, so I don't wanna mess that up.
Don't mess up anything.
Thank you.
Have you got something?
No, I don't.
Oh.
We never have a meeting go swimmingly.
He added that just to be encouraging.
Thank you.
All right. We have no more citizen comments? No? All righty. We will go down to staff. Receive and approve financial reports. Anita.
You have to sign it.
No.
You're on with this, bear with me. I just want to say, I know that in the past there's been some inconsistency in presenting the financial reports to you. I want to present them to you on a monthly basis, which means I want to present the prior month in the current month. In order to do that, I'll probably need to estimate a few of the revenue sources, but I would rather do that than delay presentation for months at a time. So with that, I put them in the packet, and I hope you all had a chance to review the memo. I'll just go through it. At the month ending August, we have spent 67% of the fiscal year. The total revenue in the general fund is at 46% of the approved budget, or $2.5 million. And I'll just round up the numbers. The largest source of revenue still remains to be sales tax, totaling at this point 1.9 million. The sales tax revenues have increased by 11% over the same time in 2020. The total expenditures in the general fund are coming in at 36% of the budget, or 1.9 million. So at the end of the month, the general fund's portion of cash in the main checking account is 1.9. That's an increase of 53% since December. The revenues exceeded expenditures by 549,000 for a total fund balance of 2.5 million from 2 million as of December 31st, 2020. So that's an increase of 21% since December. The water fund, the total revenue in the water fund is at 74% of the approved budget. The expenditures are at 52%. So at the month end, the expenditures, this is wrong. The revenues exceeded the expenditures by 84,000. Brought the fund balance in the water fund. Sorry, I'll fix my typos. To 1.9. At the end of the month, the water fund's portion of cash in the main checking account is 286,000. The sewer fund, the total revenue is 67% of the approved budget. Expenditures are at 33%. So at the month end, the revenues exceeded the expenditures by 129,000. And the sewers fund's portion of cash in the main checking account is 310,000. So we still are financially sound. The major funds have healthy balances. In addition to our existing grants, I don't know if you already were aware, we've been awarded the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds in the amount of 1.11 million. So we received the first payout in June of 520,000. And we'll get the second payout in the spring or the summer of 2022. They can be used for public health, equity-focused services, revenue loss, broadband, water, sewer infrastructure, payroll, and premium pay. So Rob and the chief are talking already about what they want to do. And you already know after listening to Carla, the Sky High project is nearing completion. The city is in the process of hiring an events manager for the promotion and scheduling of the building. Total revenue received through August, including the lease proceeds, is 5.6 million. The total expenditures are 4.9, and the cash balance with RG Bank and the Colorado Trust is 874,000. And with the packet that I had presented, there's more detail with line items and summaries. So you're welcome. If you have any questions, please let me know. I don't want to bore you with a lot of numbers.
Anita, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
Appreciate you coming on board.
Okay, and let me know if you have any questions or any suggestions of how you would like to see things done, and I'll work on it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Anita. Well, we'll move to staff proposals, reports, and actions. City manager, chief.
Mine's short. First, I would like to say to acknowledge Anita. She has done an absolute amazing job. And I think, we made her full-time. She's our full-time finance director. She has been a godsend because you guys voluntold me to do this. We didn't have a finance director, and I was like, totally clueless on this, but she has been a godsend and has made all the difference and really got the finances up, and she's been great about working with Carla and everything on Sky High. So I just want to acknowledge, and she's very easy to work with and has really got things really tightened up, so we do appreciate that. So I'm just gonna give you some hiring updates. Next week, so we're down billing clerk, we're gonna do the interviews on that next week, we hope. I think we've got several applicants there. The following week, we're gonna do the event center manager. I believe it's the week of 28th through the, somewhere in there. As you know, Bob has announced he's gonna retire by the end of the year, our HR director. So we do have his applications out for that. I don't know where he's at on that because he's hunting this week. Or either we're just sitting in the mountains doing nothing, more likely. But so we're going to, as soon as he gets that, then we'll get that. We're hoping to get somebody hired and have like about a month overlap because we're gonna have negotiations with insurance and all that stuff towards the end of the year here. So we're hoping to keep Bob on at least through the part-time anyway, at least through the end of the year to train our new HR director. And then we're also working on a rec assistant. Kim, today was Kim's, right? Today?
Yeah.
Today was Kim's last day. She went to Friday health plans like everybody else. So
What's the deal with that?
A lot of people have gone to Friday health plans. So
Where?
Friday health plans is the insurance
company.
It's a health
in
insurance company.
Alamosa. They have.
Used to be Colorado Choice.
Yeah. Anyway, she went there. So we're just down those positions. We are already internally doing budget prep. Anita has already been working on that, and we've sent it out to all the directors to go through each line item and ask for the request and or reduce it wherever needed. We have our first budget work session on October 4th. Anita will get that scheduled with you guys to have you here, and you're more than welcome to come to that piece. It's October 4th. It'll be here in council chambers, but it's a work session with you guys. And then on the 29th, we have our 1 cent committee, 1 cent committee work session for budget for the upcoming year. And again, we'd like to have you, as many of you here as possible, if you can be here. Yeah, I think that's it on budget, and then we're hoping to get budget, what did we decide by the last meeting in October? Yeah, to get the final budget, the reading and stuff to you, so. And then the ARPA funds that Anita, gosh, there's too many Anitas. Anita talked a little bit about. We got it's $1,040,000, and it's pretty restricted on what it can be used. However, Rob is, we're working on some ideas to bring before you on what we would like to see it used for, and it's, and again, it's pretty restricted, so we'll get that hopefully soon, we'll get it before council and get your blessing or your direction on which way you want to use that. And then let me go into the PD side of it. We've been busy. We had several people out with COVID. We finally are, I think this week is the first time that we've been back to full staff. Oh shucks, probably since May. We had Stampede and all that. We did that with about 3/4 staff because we had a couple out on paternity leave. So literally this week's the first time since May that we've been at full staff. So it's kind of nice. And everybody has put in shifts. I put in graveyard shifts. I was doing PD stuff at night and city manager stuff during the day. So, but we got it done and we finally got everybody back. So it's good. And again, we continue to spend an inordinate amount of time on follow-up investigations. The officers take the report, and since we don't have a full-time investigator, they have to do all their own follow-up and that, so that takes away from them being proactive and patrolling. So we'll have that discussion later on. And finally, we received our new vehicle. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, you are more than welcome to take a ride in it without handcuffs. And we would be happy to take you in a ride for it. It's a very nice vehicle, and that was funded through the 1 cent, funds, and it came out very nice. In fact, going forward, that's how I plan on doing the vehicles. The good thing is this coming year, we'll be able to reduce some of those costs. My friends at State Patrol have, I've been able to get a lot of good, fairly new equipment from State Patrol. I think I was looking at it today. In the year I've been here, I've gotten over 70,000 in equipment from State Patrol at no cost to the city. Not only State Patrol, but other entities of connections that I have, and people getting rid of like good used equipment that's still perfectly good. And I've got like over 70,000 in equipment, including the in-car radios, which are almost 4,000 a piece. And I just got 5 of those because State Patrol's got to go to a different system. So they have some fairly new ones, and having worked there for quite a few years, was able to get some really almost like new ones, and they're at about $6,500 a piece. So that'll be a significant cost that we'll be able to take out of when we start purchasing new vehicles and stuff next year. So anything we can do to reduce our costs, all about that. So that's all I've got, unless you guys have questions. And again, if you want to go on for a ride in the new vehicle without handcuffs, if you want to sit in the back in the handcuffs, by all means, it's pretty comfortable back there.
Will you take it out of the gun barrel and see if you can actually make the top of that speedometer?
No. That's the right answer.
Good answer. Well, we appreciate everything you're doing, Chief.
All right, appreciate
Very
it. Any
much.
questions? Any questions?
I think so.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So just a few things I wanted to go over with you. On September 7th, the URA, the Urban Renewal Authority met, and they were presented with a presentation from a couple who wishes to purchase 117 Adams. I don't know if you remember, 117 Adams was at one point sold to Three Guys Farms. Things fell through because of COVID. They weren't able to continue with their project, so it was deeded back over to the URA. This couple came in and presented a new restaurant with a fabulous presentation, great ideas. The URA really enjoyed it, and they approved to move forward with a contract with this couple for the sale of 117 Adams. They are hoping, with everything in place, they're hoping to open in June of 2022. So that should be a new restaurant bar there at 117 Adams. On October 7th, at your next council meeting, we will be having a public hearing for the sale of the Guzlo building. The city leased the Guzlo building to Ron Douglas. Ron Douglas then subleased it to Pacheco, and Mr. Pacheco is going to come forward with a public hearing on October 7th with the request to purchase that building. As Chief stated, we'd like to do a work session on October 4th to go over the budget, with hopefully the first reading on October 7th, and then do a second workshop on October 18th, and hopefully have the final reading of the budget on October 21st. The other thing I wanted to update you on is the Planning and Zoning Commission has been very busy. On October 28th, we will be having a public hearing for the rezoning of the commercial highway zone district to reflect the current uses. When they did the zoning, they took a section of the map and said, okay, this is the downtown, everything's zoned commercial business. But what they did is they included a lot of residential homes and churches. So the Planning and Zoning Commission took out maps, they went and labeled everything, and on the 28th we will be having a public hearing to rezone to reflect current uses. Planning and Zoning Commission is also working on fence ordinance, the sign ordinance, and the Airbnb. The fence ordinance was one time presented to city council, and city council, you all had requested that staff take it back and redo it. After talking with the planning and zoning, we all felt that the proper way would be to do the public hearing with them. They need to create those ordinances and recommend those ideas to council, and then have a public hearing with council. So that way the public is notified 2 different ways and has 2 different opportunities to speak upon those ordinances. Other than that, staying busy. That's about it. Any questions?
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
When is the meeting for the new playground that's going to be down in Sanchez Park? That Kaboom meeting?
I'm going to refer that to Rob.
I'm not sure when the actual next meeting is. That would be Jaime. Construction is still slated to start October 18th, 19th, and 20th. Those are the 3 days that Kaboom is assigned Monte Vista to build that playground. So we will start laying things out next week and taking out some of the playground structures in Sanchez Park starting next week.
Did you hear
Okay,
that, Victor?
cool.
Did you get all that, Victor?
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Is commercial highway being redefined, or are we simply rezoning?
No, what we're doing is we're rezoning, so the 3rd block, the 300 block, is where we have a lot of residential and a lot of churches. So we've gone through and we've looked at the map, and what we're looking at doing, and everybody in that zone district is going to receive a letter. Letters go out Monday. The big orange sign will be posted out here in front of City Hall that we are doing this rezoning. And all we're doing is taking what is a non-conforming use right now and making it so it is conforming to the zone district. So currently right now, if you have a resident in a commercial business zone district and that resident burns down, you cannot rebuild that residence. It is a commercial zone district. So what we're trying to do with the planning and zoning is correct that. Same goes for the churches. All those churches that are along the 300 block are going to be rezoned to residential medium density so that it matches the use that it is, and it's an allowed use in that zone district. So that's what they're doing.
Okay. What time is that? You said it's 20th. I didn't catch the time.
6 p.m.
Thank you.
28th at 6 p.m. Anything else?
I do not have anything. Thanks, Nita.
You're welcome.
Rob? Interim city manager, interim.
So, got a few things tonight. I'll just kind of go through the department pretty quick. Just an update. You remember last council meeting the weekend or the one before, 604 Washington, Mr. Gonzalez came and approached council. Just wanted to announce to everyone that has been poured, and Mr. Gonzalez the other day poured his sidewalk, so that project is relieved. Parks, we are still working, and as Councilor mentioned, the Kaboom grant for Sanchez is in full swing. We are still looking for volunteers for the October construction. It's 3 days, and it gives everybody an opportunity to actually take part in the construction of a playground for our community. So those are, the way they're doing it is half days. You can sign up to be a volunteer and get with Jaime on those, but it's shifts, morning and afternoon shifts. So, and like I said, it's already slated for October 18th, 19th, and 20th. My crew's gonna go in next week, and starting next week, and we'll start doing some of the prep work so things will be ready when the actual playground gets here. So, I encourage all of our community, if you can volunteer, to please do so. Yes, sir.
I don't mean to interrupt, but was there a press release that went out about that?
There's going to be,
Okay.
I'm not sure if I may, but we'll make sure that we get
Yeah,
a press
that'd be
release. There should be
great.
something on our Facebook and our webpage, and I'll make sure that we get a newspaper and a radio
Thank you.
thing out, because I think it's a really good program. The playground, I need to find out exactly when the next meeting is, but it's coming up, so. On the utilities, we had a continuation of some water service leaks that we've gotten fixed. One of the things that Anita had talked about on our sewer is that our expenditures are fairly down, and a large part of that is our biosolid project. Seems to be ridden with problems. Luckily, they're not ours. They're the companies, they keep having failures, so we're still getting ready to do that. So don't be surprised that if within the next couple of months, you'll see the expenditures do a big jump, and that's from that big project. So that's $100,000 project that'll be coming up for biosolids. So, and then lastly, on my side, I've been really busy. Sky High has been taking some time up. I do want to announce some really good news, and there had been a problem with the gas service over there from Excel, and I kind of want to do just an acknowledgement that Excel has been a really good partner. We've had a series of meetings, and I think all of us were at one time expecting it to be a problem, and Excel has stepped up and has been a really good partner, and has accepted to redo some of the piping to make sure that Sky High and the boiler systems in Sky High function the way they're supposed to. So I just want to publicly make sure we acknowledge that, you know, this is a huge community project, and not only the Friends, but other entities that are stepping up and really coming to the plate at key times for us. So really proud of that, and I think that went really well. The other item that I'd like to touch base on is the Monte Vista Community Fund approached me today. They're going to be doing their Veterans Day Parade on November 12th at 11 a.m. And the parade will start at Stars and Stripes and head west along 2nd Street to Adams, and then drop down to 3rd, and then continue west over to Batterson, north up Batterson to 2nd, and then back over to the park. The parade will conclude at the park, and a little service and a presentation honoring our veterans will then take place right afterwards. So if you can go to that, that would be really good. It does celebrate our veterans throughout the valley. Colette Skeff did want me to make sure I mentioned to the public that they are bringing back the ringing of the bell for service veterans and for loved ones. So they're going to give the public an opportunity to ring the bell for any loved ones that have served and passed away. So really good event. So I encourage you to go to that. And then the last thing I have is a request addressed to the mayor from the Chafee Shuttle. I'm assuming council remembers a few years ago, I, along with some representatives from Rio Grande County and Saguache County and Center and Del Norte, we got together and we did the SLV Western Transit Committee, and we got bus line services down to this area of the valley. I received a letter from Chafee County Shuttle is requesting that our city council consider including capital funds in our 2022 budget to be designated matching funds for the replacement of vehicles used to provide transit services in the San Luis Valley. Currently, the Chafee Shuttle operates in the San Luis Valley 4 days a week, serving communities of Saguache, Monte Vista, Del Norte, Center, Moffett, Villa Grove, South Fork, and Alamosa, with 2 13-passenger wheelchair-accessible vans, providing residents with access to medical appointments, shopping, and other activities. Looking toward the immediate future, 2 new vans need to be purchased for the San Luis Valley. The cost is $173,000. which means matching funds for these two vehicles total $34,600. As a nonprofit, the Chaffee Shuttle relies on federal funding and grants to operate its transit services. A local match is necessary to demonstrate support and to put additional state and federal funding for the transit services into the region. Chaffee Shuttle is requesting that the local and county government agencies invest in transportation with a contribution to local matching funds in the order to continue to provide these services to the San Luis Valley. This entails the commitment of $3,845 from each of the 6 towns and the 3 counties served. So I'm going to go ahead and include that in my initial budget, and then you as council can decide how you want to go with that during the budget process. But I just wanted you to know that we did receive this. The last 3 years, just so the city council knows, we have put in from my budget $1,500 towards transportation services within the county. So, with that, I'll open it up for any questions you might have. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate all the work you've done with Excel.
No problem. Thank you.
Definitely come together. Okay, we're to council committee, city commission, and council reports. Victor, we'll start with you.
Well, I really don't have a whole lot, except I do miss being out. Being under quarantine is no fun. Protect yourself. There's people walking around that have no symptoms of COVID and can easily just pass that along. It's a bummer that there's the protocols in place that kind of keep us from seeing each other, but they're in place for a reason. So I just want to encourage everybody just to take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones.
Thank you, Victor. Mr. Foster?
Don't have anything council-wise. I'll take a moment to make a personal announcement. A week from today, myself and 4 others will be traveling to Moscow, Russia on a mission trip. We'll be gone for about 13 days, and so if you want any Russian souvenirs, give me a call. We can work out a deal.
I thought you were volunteering to bring us something.
You gotta pay for the extra weight of luggage is the problem.
Safe travels.
Thank you, sir.
Martha?
Nothing tonight. It's a surprise. It's gonna be a surprise.
Oh, very good. That concerns me.
Saving it up for a couple meetings in a row so you can, okay, all right.
Gotta get a demo going.
Martha and I went to the CML district meeting, I believe is what it was, in La Jera. They hosted it. It was really interesting. There was a lot of representation from across the valley. And because we have a new facility and possibly a new restaurant at the time, next year the city of Monte Vista will be putting this on. So you're welcome, Nita. I'm glad I can volunteer you for that.
No problem.
And it'll be great because we'll probably have a bigger turnout due to the fact of the Sky High Park complex. I also heard that, Carla can back me up on this one. We're shooting for the end of October for the Sky High Park building to be done.
That is true, however, we have a slight hiccup. Some of the drywall crew, most of them have COVID, so that's gonna put us down a
So-
little bit.
So we're probably looking maybe in November that this will have an open house.
It's still open.
So when we do get to have the open house, it sounds like a lot of the state representatives are planning on being here because the fact that this building went up when it did through the trials and tribulations that we went through of 2020. So once again, I thank the Friends of Sky High and the city and everybody involved in that project to push through the way we did. Construction, I'll back Carla on that. Alcon has been a huge player in this facility. And I still get compliments. I hear people that haven't even been in it that had got to go in during the Octane Addiction, which was a great show. If nobody made it to that, all I can tell you is them people are out of their friggin' minds to do what they do. But I got to enjoy the conversation with those guys, and one, I shocked them because I just went up and said, hey, on behalf of the city, I'm really glad you guys came to entertain us tonight. And then when I told them I was the mayor, they were like shocked that I would even take the time to go visit with them. And then the young man that was from Australia was a really great person to talk to because of what their country's going through and where he's at today and the freedoms that he has here. He really, really enjoyed being here. So, see, I had something else too. It'll come to me eventually, but be sure and pay attention to your surrounding and watch your neighborhoods. There are still people out there with sticky fingers, and our police department is doing a fantastic job, but there's still a lot of stuff going on. See something, say something. Do not be afraid to stand for that. Don't get yourself in trouble, but see something, say something. And always, for you ladies, pay attention to your surroundings at all times, please. And the only other comment I have is that we need to have a work session on Monday.
We're not doing it tonight.
Work session.
I think we need to, Victor will be able to be here on Monday. So I think we're all in here together. We'll have the conversation amongst us in regards to city manager.
What time?
Probably 6. Because I know you're going to be taking off shortly thereafter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do it before you go so we can have a conversation amongst council. Okay?
Okay.
Well, that fall is in the air. Enjoy the cool weather. That being said, we adjourn the meeting. Yeah, we recess the meeting until.
No, you're gonna adjourn the meeting until October 7th.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn the meeting till October 2nd. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Victor. You take care of yourself, brother.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Good night.
it would be nice for us to meet them.
Well,
I'll bring it up if you put it on the agenda.
I'll get that right. One of these times.
Last meeting.
How's it going?
that's on YouTube now.